Hey Divi Nation, thanks for dropping by our documentation to learn all about Divi's powerful keyboard shortcuts. So the keyboard shortcuts, which by the way, are not necessarily immediately obvious that we have, can dramatically speed up your workflow if you know what they are and how to use them. So that's why we created this video to show you just that. So stay tuned, we're gonna walk you through a number of shortcuts that are gonna dramatically speed up your design process. Here we go.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Divi Builder keyboard shortcuts. The Divi Builder comes packed with a long list of very useful keyboard shortcuts. And once mastered, they will save you a ton of time when designing. And actions that may take you, 2, 3, or even 4 clicks can often be accomplished in just a few keystrokes. The Divi Builder has hotkeys for just about everything. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at these options to see how easy it will be to speed up your productivity when designing a website. To deploy the Divi Builder helper modal that displays all of your keyboard shortcuts here, you're going to need to be in your Visual Builder. And all you're going to do is hold down Shift and then press the question mark key on your keyboard. So basically, just press question mark. Once that happens, this will pop up and all of the shortcuts will be there listed for you for, a reference because it really would be difficult to memorize all of these in a short amount of time. So it might be helpful to go back and reference these until you get them mastered. Let's go over these shortcuts together. To do that, I'm going to have 2 browser windows open so I can keep this one open as a reference as I go through the shortcuts with you. All right, you can see that I have my modal open over here with my page shortcuts and in one browser, and then my page open in another browser with my Visual Builder deployed. And so now we can go over our shortcuts together. The first group have to do with your page shortcuts. So whenever you're in a page making edits with the Visual Builder, these shortcuts would apply. And some of these would be familiar to you and intuitive because they may be something you already use with other software. So it's a good idea to go through them and just to see what's available to you in order to save you some time. Command Z, actually Command is for Mac users. If you're using a PC, you would want to substitute the Command key with the Control key. So keep that in mind. So for the first one here, Command Z, this would be the undo button or shortcut. This is very, very helpful when building and you make a mistake. A simple keystroke there will undo that for you. The Command Y is the redo button, and you can, after a while, if you've made a lot of edits and you want to go back to one specific step, you can just keep on clicking Command Z till you get to that that place that you want to go back to, and then Command Y to go forward. And so it kind of works like a backwards and forwards option whenever you're making edits to your page. Command S will save your page. Command Shift S is a little bit different because of that shift button there, but this will save your page as a draft instead of publishing it if you're not ready to publish. This Command E is a way to exit the Visual Builder. So if I were to go over here and exit my Visual Builder, you will see that it will just take me to the live version of the site. And that's done with Command E. Now, if I'm in the Visual Builder and I want to go straight back to the backend builder, instead of taking a couple of clicks to get there, I can just use the Command Shift and then E, and then that will take me straight to the backend builder. As you can see, there you go. I'm going to go back to my Visual Builder. Now, There's some other ones here that have to do with your Command Shift. So Command Shift T would toggle your settings bar. And your settings bar is this bar at the bottom here that toggles open when I click the, Command Shift T. The open page settings is with the O. You can do that one. That's your page settings. Also your history window and portability window with the H and the P in combination with the Command Shift as well. The Command plus icon or button will zoom in, and then the Command minus button will zoom out. And this is zooming in on the different different mobile devices. To do this, normally you would go down to your menu and click on the device here to show what it looks like. But instead of doing that, you could simply Command plus, and it will continue to shrink, and then Command minus to come back out again. So let's zoom in and then zoom out. Very, very easy to do. Shift W. This is the wireframe mode. If you wanted to do that without the short key, you would come down here to your menu and click the wireframe icon here button. And that would deploy your wireframe view. Very helpful whenever you need to see, kind of like a back-end builder version of your site when you're using your visual builder. It's like a quick reference, and you can make changes. So that's a nice short key there. You can also deploy into these different modes for when you're editing your page with the visual builder. You can do click mode, grid mode, and hover mode. These are available down here in your menu. And if you go here to builder default interaction mode, you'll see that by default it's hover, but you can also select click or grid. Instead of going into your builder settings and doing that by clicking through it, you can just use Command Shift C or Command Shift G or Command Shift H to do that. And so something I already told you, but the question mark is what pulls up this list that we're looking at over here. Inline editor shortcuts is one, and that one is the escape. So if you're in the inline editor, and if you're not sure what that is, it's whenever you're hovering over a module and you want to just go ahead and directly click on it and edit it inline like this. And you're making edits to it. And then if I wanted to exit out of that, it might be kind of difficult to do or confusing, just trying to click somewhere to exit out of it doesn't really work well. All you really need to do is hit escape, and that will do it for you. All right, moving on to our module shortcuts. Module shortcuts, this Command C is good for copying modules. And this, of course, works well with Command V, which is to paste. So you would want to Command C to copy and then Command V to paste, which is, a common one used by, other softwares out there as well. So all I would need to do is hover over whatever module, or even this works with rows and sections as well. Just hover over whatever you want to copy and click Command C, and then go click or hover over this module here, and if I press Command V, it's going to paste it directly underneath, just like that. The same applies with the cut module option. Instead of copying it, if you want to actually cut it, you can do Command X. So this would be Command X, cut the module out, and then let's Command V to place it right underneath there. I'll do Command Z to undo. Other ones include Command Alt C, which is to copy module styles. So normally, if I wanted to, I would use my right-click option here and press this copy style, and then come over here to my other module and then paste that style in there. And to do that with the shortcut, you would simply, instead of Command C like a normal copy, you would add the Alt button there and then click Command Alt C to copy your module styles, and then Command Alt V to paste them wherever you want to. This is a very simple shortcut key here. This is the L button, and that's to lock a module. So you can hit L again to unlock it, but if you wanted to simply do that quickly, click the L button. All right. Same goes for the disable module. If I click D, this would disable the module in all devices. Just go in and check just to be sure under your advanced tab, and I'll show you it has been disabled on all of them just by clicking the D button. All right. And if I go ahead and click D again and go check my settings, you'll see that it's been taken out. Alt plus the module move. This is if I hold Alt and move my module, it will copy the module. So now when I start moving it, notice that that one stays there, and the one that I'm about to deploy is the copied version. So if I paste it, there you are. So I have actually two now. All right, so this next one is to change the column structure for a row. I could press C plus the 1 button, and that would change my row into a 1-column row. Just to show you what that looks like. There you go. There's a 1-column row now. If I wanted to change it to a 2-column, just hold down the C button and press 2. There's my 2-column row. And I can just hold down C and just press 3 and then 4. And then it would go through all of the other available column structures as well. The R button plus the F button will make a row full width. So if let's see if I got a row here that I want to make full width, I can do that. Let's go ahead and just, whenever you do these, make sure that you're actually hovering over the column, the row, and not like a module, to make sure that the shortcut key works. So R and then F, you can see that automatically makes it full width. And pressing the same thing again will go back to its original state. G plus a 1, 2, 3, or 4 will change your gutter width. So normally you would go into your row settings, go to your design tab, go to your sizing tab, and you see here it says use custom gutter width. Right now it's set to 1. I have 1, 2, 3, or 4 as an option here. So instead of going in there and changing those settings, I can actually use the shortcut to do that. So I could hold down G and press 2, and it would see my gutter width has changed to a 2. I can do a 3 and then a 4 and go back. The R plus a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or any of these will add a new row. So the numbers here correspond to the kind of row you want to add. So let's say I wanted to add a row. Normally I would just click on this add new row, and then I would select one of these column structures for my row. Well, instead of doing this step here to go and select a 2-column row like that, I'm going to delete it. I can go ahead and hover over my row wherever I want to add one directly underneath it. And I would simply hold down the R button and press 2. And there you go. Adds a 2-column row. And each of the numbers there corresponds to the different options I have here. So 1, 2, 3, and so on. The next one, S plus 1, 2, or 3, is add a new section. So in order to do that, I would normally hover over my add new section, and then I would add a regular, specialty, or full width. Well, this would be your numbers, 1, 2, or 3. So if I wanted to add a regular section, I'd hold down S and press 1. So let's do that. I'm going to do S1, but make sure that you're hovering over your section here, S1. And then it prompts me to, what kind of row column structure I want for my new section, just like it would if I added a section normally. Continuing on, the shift plus drag padding. This will restrict padding to 10 pixel increments. So if you're, wanting to jump by 10 pixels, you can do that. Hover over your row, for example, here, and then hold down your shift and then drag the padding. You'll see it jumps 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on. The Alt plus drag padding is a way to limit the padding to the opposite, to your opposing value that you have set. So if I, let's say I have 40 pixels of padding up here at the top, and I wanted to, customize or drag this padding here. If I hold down Alt, basically what it's going to do is not allow me to go past my opposing value. So if I keep dragging, you'll see that I can't drag it anymore because it's stopping at 40, which is what it is, my opposing value up here at the top. The Shift plus Alt plus drag padding would be the mirror padding on both sides. So this is a quicker way to add the same amount of padding on the top and bottom when you're dragging your padding. So Shift, Alt, and then I start dragging. You'll see that it increases padding on the top and the bottom of my row at the same time with the same value. So that's very, very convenient. So holding down R and pressing the left button or the right or up or down button on your keypad, this will adjust your row padding on all 4 sides, whatever button you choose. So if I choose to increase my row padding on the left side, I would simply hold R and press left when I'm on my row there. And you'll see over there, it's adding padding to my left side. All right. I could also do the same for the right. Hold down R, and then you'll see padding is being added to the right side. If I press down, you'll see it starts adding it down as well, and then up. So you could just kind of hover over your row and then start using these shortcuts to get the padding exactly right, instead of having to drag if you don't want to drag. And a similar one is the R button plus the Alt button. So R plus Alt, and then the same thing, up, down, left, right. You can decrease the padding. So you can do the same thing here for your sections. Just use the S key instead of your R key, and that will adjust the padding for your sections and decrease your padding for your sections. These shortcut keys here will increase your row padding by 10 pixels instead of by 1 pixel. So these are helpful as well. Let's go down to our last group, and that's the modal shortcuts. The modal shortcuts include this one here, which is fairly intuitive, and that's escape. The escape key will actually close your modal. So if I am, let's say I'm click to edit this module here, and this pops up my blurb settings modal. So this box that pops up is considered a modal. So if I want to escape it, or I should say close it out, instead of coming down here and finding this X button, I could just hit escape. So the same thing applies to save the changes. Instead of coming down here to click my check, I could simply hit enter, and that will save my changes for me. All right. Command Z, the undo, and then the Command Shift Z to redo anything that you have edited within your modal. So if I'm inside my modal here, and let's say I make some changes, and if I hit Command Z, that will just simply undo the change that I made. To redo, though, is slightly different because it's not just Command Z. In this case, it's Command Shift Z to redo when you're inside your modal here. If you want to shift tabs within a modal, you can just hold down your Shift key and hit the tab button, and that will toggle through all of your tabs. Command plus Enter will expand your modal to full screen, just like that. And this last one here will, this Command Left or Command Right will snap your modal to the left or to the right. So let's say I was editing here and it was, small or whatever size it may be. I can hit my Command Left, and there we go. It snaps it nicely to the left side of my page. And I could do the same for the right. All right. And that concludes the tutorial on how to use a Divi Builder keyboard shortcuts.